A man accused of killing his stepfather talked to us from jail today, what he said and how his family members are responding.
Police say they found an intoxicated child at a Central Kentucky shopping center today. What we've learned about the investigation.
We're teaching them to look for the clues.
How some unique hands-on training is helping police recruits stop a danger on Kentucky roads.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening to you. He admits he killed his stepfather, and from jail today, a Laurel County man told us why he says he did it.
John Stricker has been charged with murder. Police say they found the victim, Donnie Stone, shot to death in a Laurel County home over the weekend. WKYT's Hillary Thornton talked with Stricker this morning. It's our top story at 6.
The man police say shot and killed his stepfather early Sunday morning is now behind bars.
Did you shoot him?
John Stricker never denying he is responsible, admitting he shot Donnie Stone 5 times, and he was given confidential orders to do so by the military.
Shot him today at 2:25 a.m. that morning for his death.
And then where'd you go?
To my friend's house.
Police searching most of Sunday for the 35-year-old considered armed and dangerous.
We was just scared because we knew that he had mental problems.
Eventually finding him at a home in Clay County, police also finding and seizing Stricker's pistol.
Do you regret at all what you did?
No.
Family members say Stricker does have a history of mental illness and had recently stopped taking his medication.
It is because they knew that and that Stricker possibly had a gun that neighbors out here say they are relieved to hear that he has now been caught.
And I hope they get him the help that he needs.
Neighbors hoping he is held responsible while also receiving treatment, saying they cannot imagine what Stricker's mother is going through as her son sits in jail accused of murdering her husband. In Laurel County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
A not guilty plea was entered for Stricker today in court. His bond is set at $250,000 cash with the condition of home incarceration.
A disturbing discovery at an Anderson County shopping center today. Lawrenceburg police say they found an intoxicated 12-year-old child, and they say he stole alcohol from one of the stores in the shopping center. New at 6, Monique Blair talks to police about this troubling case.
Lawrenceburg police tell me they were called out here to this Dollar General store this afternoon around 2 o'clock. Police say when they got here, there was a 12-year-old boy sitting on a chair in front of the store. Police say that child was drunk.
As far as how intoxicated he was obviously, as a 12-year-old, under the influence. But body size, what he's eating, everything else plays a role. And I can't say that he was falling on his face drunk, but it was obvious that he had alcohol in his system.
Police say they believe the 12-year-old went inside the Dollar General store and stole the alcoholic beverages before coming outside and drinking them. The boy was taken by ambulance to an area hospital. Police tell me he is expected to be okay. Chief Adkins tells me police are still investigating the shoplifting incident, but at this time no charges have been filed because police say right now they are just focusing on the child's well-being. In Lawrenceburg, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And this happened during school hours, but police did not tell us why the child was not in school. A missing Florida girl who police say was taken from her home has been found safe in Tennessee. An Amber Alert had been issued for 4-year-old Rebecca Lewis. Police say a family friend, 31-year-old West Hoggs, took the child from Lakeland, Florida, Saturday. This afternoon, police said they found both of them in Memphis, and they arrested Hoggs. A park ranger in Campbell County, Tennessee, not far from the Kentucky state line, had reported seeing a man and a child matching the descriptions of Hoggs and the child late last night.
Tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what led to a crash in Montgomery County that killed an elderly woman. It happened around 8 this morning on Camargo Road, not far from Mount Sterling. Police say 84-year-old Helen Shiverdecker of Menifee County was heading home when a car traveling in the opposite direction crossed the center line and hit her car head on.
And in my understanding, talking to the witnesses, she tried to veer out of the way to avoid the collision. Just like a magnet, I was told. He just continued on into her path and struck her.
Police say Shiverdecker died at the scene. Police say the other driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The road was closed for hours, but has since reopened. Nicholasville police have arrested a man they say had a meth lab in a park. Police say they were called to Lake Mingo Park this morning for a report of a man sleeping there. They say when they talked to the man, Hubert Bowling, they found he had some outstanding warrants in Lexington. And police say they found a one-step meth lab in his backpack. Police called a special response team to deactivate the chemicals. Bowling has been charged with making meth.
Well, the new week began with sunshine and warm temperatures, and don't expect much change over the next few days. WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell joins us now with an early look of your forecast.
We are tracking another gorgeous day out there. Temperatures in most cases got well into the low 70s and upper 60s. Now, as we move forward, we're going to keep that momentum going and try to push it a little bit deeper into the 70s. It's a dry and sunny run. We have a rain chance in the forecast, but I still say dry and sunny because it's not that impressive. It's kind of like what we ran into over the weekend. Temps will remain above average at least until that fall front gets here on Thursday. That's the only thing that front has going for it, is it does have some cooler air in position behind it. Out there right now, we are pretty quiet, just with some cloud cover streaming into the skies. We look at a forecast hour by hour starting at 8 o'clock tonight. We're back into the 50s at that point. We'll probably start tomorrow morning off around 46, and then we're back into the 70s for highs by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Looking really good. I think we'll get even warmer on Wednesday before that front takes a small bite out of our temperatures. I'll track the front right into your area hour by hour coming up in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. Sometimes the best way to teach something is to show it. That is the philosophy for an important lesson instructors teach police recruits at the Department of Criminal Justice Training Center in Richmond. WKYT's Miranda Combs takes us to a class where the goal is to get drunk.
You can crunch numbers, read examples, and study data. But they say you can't really spot it.
I'll give you another one.
Unless you've seen it.
Can I get another Coke, please?
When they're dosed up, you'll be able to see it. I can show it to you.
The doses are shots, and this isn't a bar, it's a classroom with 3 people trying to get drunk.
I thought I was fine about 10 minutes ago, and I realized I'm not.
You can go ahead and fill me up.
Looks like he needs more ice here.
And these 2 aren't bartenders.
That's not my natural calling.
They are instructors with the Department of Criminal Justice Training. Every 2 months or so, they trade in the textbooks for bourbon and rum.
Are you talking drinking all this in 2 hours?
Even though the conversation
I couldn't find my keys right now.
wanders,
I played a few games of Flip Cup.
the activity is actually very controlled.
Depending on the gender and the weight of the person determines how much we give them to drink.
Each participant has exactly 2 hours to get to a .10 blood alcohol level,
All right, at 10 minutes till, we need to finish with our first half.
well above the legal limit.
We need to get them up high enough where they're not falling down drunk, but they need to be up enough where they're impaired.
Halfway through what they call dosing, their blood alcohol is checked.
Put your mouthpiece in, blow till I say stop.
And the doses are adjusted to hit that .10.
All right, .092. And we're gonna have to cut him back.
The second hour
We'll bring out the snacks.
is louder.
So I'm just trying to figure out which one is a better presidential
What do you carry?
candidate.
Well, I saw it like on Facebook or something.
Well, the more they drink, the more talkative they usually get.
I have no idea what you're on.
Alcohol tends to loosen the tongue on the average person.
By the end of the 2 hours, each has had more than a dozen shots of 80 proof alcohol.
I feel like a train just hit me.
One long continuous breath. 109. 117.
This isn't a test of
Keep blowing.
tolerance, though,
098. Good job.
but a test for these recruits.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The 3 are split up and sent with groups of recruits. Each one has to perform a field sobriety test.
We teach them to look for the clues.
They have no idea how much alcohol, if any, the participants drank.
We teach them a textbook, but they've got to have hands-on experience to actually see it for themselves.
Most of the test is memorization for the cadets, remembering the right way to present the task to drivers on the side of the road.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. You go backwards,
Backwards.
not forward.
So 31 to 15.
But there's one thing, one clue they say a driver can't overcome if they've had too many drinks.
Speed's important. If you go too slow, you'll miss the clues.
It's called the HGN test, or horizontal gaze nystagmus test.
The involuntary jerking of the eyes, so it's caused by the alcohol. So we can't fake that, we can't falsify it, we can't pretend like we're doing it.
If you watch, you can see the eyes twitching.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 6 clues.
Okay.
The clues are all compiled, and the recruits head back to the drawing board to see if they made the right call.
Arrest or release?
Arrest.
All 3 were arrested, or pretend, a practice with sobering clarity.
I'm pretty well tickled with what you've all done today.
And that's the end of the lesson.
I feel like I can physically do the things that I need to do.
But not for these 3. They'll be staying a while to sober up.
But it's just the cognitive skills that are really messing with me.
Now, this day started at about 11 in the morning for the participants that came in to drink, and that classroom session that you just saw was much later in the afternoon, around 4. After that, they give them food and wait for them all to completely sober up before they can go home. So it can be a long day, but I will say one of those 3 participants that we saw that day had actually done this test before, so it must not be too much not fun.
Coming back to do it again.
They'll do it again.
Well, the sad reality is we know that they're going to face this when they get out there on the streets.
Yes.
But let's talk about this. Can anyone just show up and participate in these kinds of classes for
Anyone
them?
can start the process, and you can go to the Department of Criminal Justice Facebook page to learn more about how to get in it. But also, they do these classes a lot throughout the year. Obviously, there's a lot of recruits coming through, but they don't want to use one person more than a couple of times a year to kind of spread it out a little bit.
Quite an inside look today, Miranda.
Was very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the search continues for the person who's been throwing rocks at moving cars in Jessamine County. Next on WKYT News at 6, we have new information about that investigation.
And then how a late federal judge's legacy will live on for many years to come at the University of Kentucky.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
We have an update tonight on the investigation into some rocks being thrown at moving cars in Jessamine County.
The Jessamine County Sheriff's Office said 8 drivers told them last week that someone threw rocks at their cars on US 27 near the Kentucky River Bridge. Deputies say 3 more drivers have since come forward, saying their cars were also hit by rocks last week. But there were no new reports over the weekend. Investigators haven't found the person who's been throwing the rocks. They say the only description they have is a man wearing an all-white outfit.
New tonight, the University of Kentucky will be the home of a new initiative named in honor of the late U.S. Senior District Judge John Hayburn. The Hayburn Initiative will establish an archives and oral history program for Kentucky's federal judges, along with a national lecture series on judicial topics. Judge Hayburn was a federal judge for more than 20 years. He struck down Kentucky's ban on same-sex marriage. His widow says this initiative will help people understand more about how the judicial branch of the government works.
This body of transcribed, digitally accessible material will allow researchers and citizens to pull back the veil on change that occurs through the federal judiciary.
The first speaker of the new Hayburn Initiative lecture series at UK will be U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts early next year.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Now, this is how you want to start a week, with temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s, and that's where most of us have been throughout the daytime hours today. It has been a great Monday, and you can see the temperatures are staying steady out there, even now with some of the mid-60s showing up into eastern Kentucky, but a lot of the uppers as well. So not a bad-looking day at all, no matter which way you look across Kentucky. Now, again, you're a little bit cooler to the east, but that's not a big deal. Very seasonable type air trying to get in here. We should be in the upper 60s, low 70s in most locations. If you're just a few degrees cooler than that, you're still faring pretty well. Here's what we've got under Defender Radar Network. Nothing precipitation-wise, but when we throw in some satellite animation, some clouds, you do see that we have a disturbance just developed and passing well off to our west and likely misses us off to the north as well. But what it will do is it will throw some cloud cover in our direction, and it's already doing that from Paducah all the way up to Louisville. Now we're starting to see the skies cloud up just a little bit from some of that moisture that's on the move. Now, again, we're running into some very dry air around here, so it'll be hard to keep a shower chance alive in this type of atmosphere. Hour by hour forecast, watch what happens with an area of high pressure that's moving off to the east, and then a cold front that'll be drifting in from our west. Oh, by the way, look at behind that front. You see that? That's the wintry mix pink showing up as far as, or as close, I should say, as close as southwest Minnesota. Just wanted to point that out for no apparent reason at all. Then the front continues to work in toward us as we get into your Thursday. Showers will show up along with the front by midday on Thursday. The coverage is not going to be impressive, but we will be tracking some rain out of that. Most of us will stay on the dry side. This is more of an atmospheric or a temperature change kind of front. Again, we'll get a stray shower or two, but it's really going to be more about the cool air that filters in behind it, because that'll kind of run the show. Out ahead of it, though, we likely see tonight early morning hours of low 40s, mid 40s. And most areas. We had several folks showing up in the upper 30s this morning, but I think we're a little bit warm for that now. And then daytime highs tomorrow, you see low and mid 70s area wide. Another really good looking day taking shape. So again, it's all about that front. Watch how I've got this animated here to show you how the front and the moisture kind of pulls away from it and moves more toward the north. It kind of moves away from it before completely just drying up. This fall front brings us a short-lived chilly blast. Let's reveal that in the 7-day forecast, because you'll see the impact of the front Thursday, Friday, 65, 67, but Saturday gets here, we're right back into the 70s. So that's really more about what this 7-day forecast is about, because we got tomorrow and Wednesday that will just absolutely look wonderful out there, guys.
Well, I love that 7-day, but we could really use some rain somewhere in there.
And the problem is, as I was looking long range, even next week, we got another fall front.
Yeah.
Looks the same. Very little rain with it as well.
Not a good pattern.
I know.
Jim, thanks.
Well, just ahead, Mark Stoops wants everybody back on board.
That is what he said after Saturday's game. He talked about the environment that's been swirling around his team. And the fans didn't get to see big man Ty Wynyard in action last season. They will get to see him this year. That's next in sports. John Calipari put his team through a televised practice last night. Media Day is scheduled for Thursday, and Big Blue Madness is Friday night. Cal says his players would not have come to Kentucky if they didn't believe they could win a national championship. Now they need to figure out how they can be their best within the team.
If you walk in a gym and you're by far the best talent, you're in the wrong gym. If you walk in a gym and you look at all the talent and you go, whoa, there's some talent here, you're in the right gym. That's what we're about. That's what Kentucky's about. You're not going to be the only guy.
When Ty Wynyard arrived at UK midway through last season, it was uncertain whether or not he would play. Ultimately, he took a red shirt. As Lee K. Howard tells us, Wynyard is now ready to compete.
Ty Wynyard arrived in Lexington last December with plenty of buzz, but Kentucky fans never got the chance to see him on the court after John Calipari decided to redshirt him.
Oh man, I really wanted to play last year. Obviously, sitting was really hard, you know. I really wanted to get in there. Sitting on that bench is just tough for anyone.
Now with a full offseason under his belt, Wynyard says he's more prepared to step in and play a role this season.
Oh, definitely, I'm a lot more prepared having that red shirt year, being able to see everyone that actually puts in that work and how things work over there, so yeah.
The New Zealand native came to UK with plenty of raw talent. He has been working to improve all parts of his game.
Everything, really. You know, in basketball you can work on everything, and especially here you can work on anything here. Like, they have every single facility that you may need to improve your game, and it's just amazing.
Unlike last season, Kentucky will have a crowded front court, creating plenty of competition for playing time for Wynyard and the other bigs.
It makes us all have to fight for playing time and fight for each other, you know, and having extra bigs is just a lot of fun for me and for everyone on this team, you know, being able to compete and get better as a player.
Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
Mark Stoops saying after Saturday's victory over Vanderbilt, his program needs everybody back on board. Stoops said the Cats aren't a great team. He called it a work in progress that's getting better and better. Stoops said he and his team deserve some of the criticism that's come their way, but the environment has been difficult.
Toxic, negative stuff is very hard to turn a program when people turn that way. You know what I mean? And turn on the kids and turn on the players. Coaches deserve to be criticized. That's our job, but it's part of our job. But the players and getting toxic and getting negative and being all that, you know, that's not going to help get this program the way we want it to go. I promise you.
And there is no game Saturday. 6 games down, 6 to go. We are midway through this season. Barb, Amber.
Thank you. A final check of your First Alert forecast is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, after a fiery debate, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump continued attacking each other today on the campaign trail. The latest from both campaigns.
Well, it certainly has been a pleasant day for a Monday.
Oh yeah, Monday being the key word there. And it's going to continue as we go into Tuesday as well. Up to 73 tomorrow, guys. A little breezy on Wednesday, and then we're tracking a front into the area that brings a small chance of rain and a brief cool down, and then we're right back to above average. But all in all, this is not a bad 7-day forecast. The positive thing would be having more rain. Unfortunately, we're not getting it.
All right, much more news to come over on the CW Lexington at 6:30. Join Miranda Combs and Sean Moody there next.